Global mobility basically is a fancy word for transfers. And for businesses, it's very important to have this embedded in their culture because it helps growing the talent between different regions, geographically, different backgrounds. And it's always better to have a diversity in their group, in a company, with wherever the country they are in. So global mobility does add some sort of flavor to the business.
To the business, I would say that they would be looking at global mobility to help them plan their strategy, planning for compliance constraints, or how they will deploy staff across different projects. I think the overall interest to the business is that we are aligned to their strategy and that they understand the overall commercial impact of their mobility strategy.
What key principles need to be considered when moving employees across borders? Well, immigration for sure. What nationality is the employee? What nationality or which passport do the family members hold? How is that passport going to be landed in the host country? So making sure that immigration compliancy is possible as well as accepted, and the whole process around it and all the documentation needed. Something else that needs to be considered is diversity and inclusion in the host location. If we have a same-sex couple moving from one country, perhaps from the Netherlands to another country where same-sex couples are not allowed, perhaps, or not recognized, or their marriage is not recognized, and so the partner can't come. That is something that we're seeing more and more, and something that I wish was more accepted all around the world, but it does put limitations on moves because if it's not immigration, if it's not possible for immigration for your partner, your same-sex partner, to be accepted into the host country, then that move probably won't happen because employees don't want to leave their partners and loved ones at home. So that is a challenge for moving immigration-wise into some locations, unfortunately.
It's opportunities to do something different, to showcase their skills, to learn new things and to grow.
It is always a really interesting question for me, how global mobility is seen from HR point of view. If global mobility is considered as essential part of HR or rather a separate function. In my team, actually, we usually joke about being an island within HR. So we always feel that we are part of HR, of course. But when someone is not dealing with global mobility issues that oftenly, they are always really surprised, and they say that it's like something that's completely out of their scope and experience, and it's really complicated, and it's really just something that they don't want to deal with. And they really need professionals who understand what this is, and they need like a totally different view and a separate type of people to deal with these issues. Personally, I think that right now in the company where I'm working, HR is really, it basically acquired global mobility, so global mobility is an essential part of HR team. I never feel that we would be like on the two sides of the same issue, but we rather try to work together, but still we remain an island always, and I think global mobility will always remain an island because it doesn't only contain HR related tasks and activities. There is a little bit of finance, a little bit of tax, a little bit of immigration, calculations, so it's not core HR.
I think the global mobility teams have evolved in different ways. One thing that I see more and more is a shift or a differentiation between operations and strategic design. But I see more operations and strategic design being closer to each other. So although there is a differentiation between the teams, there is also a better partnership and a better alignment between them. Also, I feel like the skills that we as professionals need to have a very important business component. We need to be much more tech savvy, but also understand our businesses closer. So business acumen is definitely one of the skills that we will be required to have. I think that every company, even if they have similar programs or similar procedures, every company has something that is different, and the way that we move people is different, because it aligns to how the business is strategizing, how the business is working, and with that there are things that we need to figure out differently, and you only get that from business acumen. So understanding how your different businesses work, how the different industries are moving people, enable you to be more successful. So I feel like business acumen is definitely going to continue to be front and center on the skills that we have to have as professionals. I remember a few years back, or more than a few now, when I started doing global mobility, one of my key clients said, one key thing that will help you in being successful in what we do is talking the language of your client. And that is very, very true. If you're able as a global mobility professional, and I think that this applies really to anyone, but especially with global mobility, if you're able to talk the same language as your business, as your stakeholder, you're going to be more successful. And it will also allow you to be more present, because they'll know that when you're talking about their specific business, you are really talking about their specific business and their specific strategies and their specific initiatives, which will allow you to then move people in a more efficient way, in a more effective way, and be really successful in driving the global mobility agenda with the business as itself.
Truly shown to the business that yes, we do have the platform, we do have the partnership, we run a board of experts with whom we contract on a regular basis to help us find all of these solutions. And that has, in a way, create a positive experience versus towards the business for global mobility. Today, we have shown our relevance, we have shown the impact we can make to the business. We drive the remote work strategy. We make the decision. We are gatekeepers of the program. If anyone wants to work from anywhere outside of their country of employment, we know we will be put into that discussion. That truly, from the team perspective, gives them a positive experience. They felt that all of their knowledge, all of their contribution have finally come to the forefront of the business, and they are being recognized for all the work that they have been done into the past. The downside to that, it is a lot of pressure on the team. It is a lot of work that is being asked on us on such a lean team, and we are stretched to sometimes to the limit of our capacity. And of course, as in many areas, in many companies, employees are rethinking about their career path or rethinking about what are their priorities. And some individuals no longer want to have to, think for 12, 14 hours per day on fixing the issues that have been brought by COVID-19, and rethinking about a different career path, something that truly create a balance with work and their personal life.
The resilience that I observed in my team as they had to pivot on a dime from a comfortable world of supporting relocations into figuring out how to manage delayed relocations and flexible work just seeing this team come together and just figure this stuff out that no one else had ever really thought about before was super gratifying.
So global mobility in the next few years, I see it to be growing and getting more structured, getting more different types of professionals, and really putting more information out there on how you could expand your career as an immigration global mobility professional within the industry.
I think what the pandemic has accelerated discussions on are around the future of work and diversity and inclusion. So future of work in the sense that where mobility plays through is that we move people to jobs. But what the pandemic has thrown up is the possibility of now moving jobs to people. And I think this ties in with the discussion of diversity and inclusion, whereby by leveling the playing field especially for regional and global roles, and by allowing remote working, especially for people who are not mobile, I think this actually presents the opportunity for people to actually expand their careers without mobility. And I think the intersection of these two topics, future of work and diversity and inclusion, will then determine how mobility is used in the organization. So very interesting times.